This happened a few years ago, while I was on my way home from visiting my mum. I was driving on a back road late at night in my Tesla while it was on auto drive. I wasn't paying too much attention to the road, and I was thinking about work the next day while I had my music playing in my car. The road was quiet, there was no cars about, and I chilled for a while. I'm not really sure how much time passed, because I was not really paying attention to the time. Suddenly, my car immediately braked and made an alarm sound. I was petrified. I immediately grabbed the wheel and looked through the windshield. I saw a tall figure standing inches from my car. He narrowly avoided being hit. My heart was still racing from the sudden impact of the brakes. They didn't even flinch or attempt to move away. I looked at them for a good 10 seconds. I could see it was a man around 25 years old. I put my car into park and turned on the megaphone to ask if they were okay. The man didn't respond and proceeded to walk to my door. I locked my doors while he approached my car. I was terrified. He asked me if I could roll down the window to speak to him. I refused. I told him that I could hear him from the other side. I asked him why he was out here all alone in the cold. He told me that his car had broken down and he was waiting for someone. He also asked for my name. I told him my name was Rebecca, and he told me their name was Ashton. After an attempt at small talk, I told them that I would be calling someone to come and assist with the situation. He wasn't happy with my response and insisted that I drop him off to a friend's house who lived nearby. I could see he was getting agitated. That's when I became really uncomfortable and suspicious. He had told me he was waiting for someone and now he needed to be dropped off. His story didn't add up. I put my car back into drive and told them again I would call someone to help. He then made a sudden reach for the door handle, but I guess he forgot that Tesla handles are embedded into the car. When he did that, I immediately stepped on the pedal and went flying down the road. I didn't even look back into my rearview mirror or put the car into autopilot. The whole ride back, I was terrified and shaking. I got back onto the main road where I could see cars and just floored it home. I couldn't get my mind off it for the rest of the night. I suspect that man was not alone and there were other people working with him. I will never stop to help some random person again, especially late at night. Several years ago, I was working at an established nursing home that was a couple of miles from my house. I was around 25 at the time. In the summer, I would sometimes ride my bike, but most of the time I drove my car. I worked the 3 till 11 shift for a few years, and this encounter happened after I got out at 11:30 p.m. My work friend lived a bit further from our workplace and would have to walk a fair distance to the bus stop. She didn't drive, and on this night she asked me to drop her off at the bus stop instead of her walking. It had been a tough shift for the both of us, and all I wanted to do was go home and sleep, but I said yes because I wanted to make sure she got there safe. The area that I drop her off is at a large bus station. It's well lit, and there are plenty of restaurants and food shops in the area, so there are people out and about even at this time of night. I drop her off and I go on my way. On the way home, I stop at some traffic lights and I see a blue car pull up next to me. He's on the passenger side and he's looking right at me when I turn to look at him. It creeps me out. I turned away, but I could see he was still staring at me. The lights turn green and I go. The blue car rides alongside me for a while, matching my slow speed, but then brakes and moves behind me. I'm a little worried about this, but I carry on driving. I thought for sure he would shoot left past me once we passed the next junction. After a few turns, this car is now following me turn for turn. This was before the days of cell phones, so you just had to deal with it. Anyway, creepy guy follows me all the way home down to my street, but I didn't pull into my driveway. I kept driving, and creepy guy is still following me on the streets that I intentionally backtracked on. I know this guy is stalking me, so I did what my grandpa always told me. He was a retired police officer way back in the day. I drove to the nearest police station. This is back in the 80s, so police were in and out of the station periodically. The guy eventually knows where I'm headed and speeds off, but not before he gets the attention of two officers parked in a police car. I pull up and speak to the officers. They talk to me and ask me to come inside the station to give a statement. I followed them there and told them everything, but I didn't have a good description of the guy or the car plate. Both cops looked at each other, and one of them said to me, "Look, I shouldn't be telling you this, but there have been some stalking incidents and assaults from a guy matching your description who drives a blue car." The officers were great and followed me home to make sure I got home safe. I made sure to tell all the girls I worked with, and they arranged rides together. My brother purchased a baseball bat for me to keep in the car. I'm pretty sporty and can easily handle a bat. I switched to the day shift as soon as I could, but I never saw the car or that creepy guy again.